I'll be right back. Ken, I'm gonna record, okay? Oh. Why is this shit lagging today? It's lagging hard. All right. What's up, everybody? It's the after show, but later. It's your boy D. I am joined today again by Luis Cortez Jr. And we got to get right at it because we got to get out of here early today. So, episode number 312. Remember, you guys let us know in the chat if there's anything you want us to hit on. But Luis, where'd you want to get started? Los Doyers won. They took it.
Yo, what's up, Food Tuesday, everybody? But yes, bro, what a game, what a series, bro. I mean, for real, I think for baseball, and I even text Savino, so huge, bro. For people who don't know baseball or don't have a team, and then it became like a country thing, a competition, right?
Hold on.
There was even some smack
Real
talk.
quick. I have to address the chat real quick. Magical Mexican put, yo, it's 7, not 6. In Arizona for us, it says 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you're on Patreon, I had put even a message for us in Arizona. It's 7 o'clock. So I try to do as much as I can, but I appreciate you being here. So anyway, my bad. I interrupted your thought, Luis.
You're good.
Go ahead.
I was just glad, like I said, for the game of baseball that the how much it did, right? And I think for some of us who are watching this right now, I mean, we're living and breathing, seeing one of the best, probably the best foods in baseball. So the fact that it's my team and this is happening, I'm watching in Game 7, bro, was so epic. Like it was such a roller coaster. I mean, the series was amazing. How it ended from the ball getting stuck in a double play, and then I mean, just the switches that the coach made, and Yamamoto just dealing, bro. Like that's just it doesn't happen. You don't see that anymore. Pitching games in that many innings, bro. So
I'm not even a huge baseball fan. I'm probably the most out of all the professional sports, the most casual baseball. And man, this series was so bad. And I have a question for you. I actually wrote it down in my notes. So you're a Dodgers fan. You're in Vegas. How did that happen? Were you always a Dodgers fan? Did you used to live in California? I don't know a whole lot about your backstory, so just let me know how that happened.
yeah, bro. So I'm born and raised in 562, which is the Long Beach area. I was actually born in Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital. So the
Damn.
saying now is you were there born there or you died there because it's so ghetto. I don't even think it exists anymore, bro. Like it was on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, so it was. I grew up there, bro, and then born and raised in Bell Gardens, California. I don't know if anyone knows what's up with that area. And I went to Bell Gardens High School, lived there, and then basically right out of high school, I went to work in the mining industry, and that's like not around Cali, or the ones I had to work with is in Northern Nevada. So I moved there, spent like 7, 8 years there, and then because of that job, I had an opportunity in Vegas. So then I moved here. I was like halfway close to Cali, kind of the same vibe as far as the attractions and some of the things and 24/7. So it made sense, bro. So, but growing up, it was the Dodgers, bro. That's what my dad used to take us. I mean, cheap, right? I sound
Yeah.
like an old guy now. That's crazy, but like we bought a ticket, a hot dog, and a soda. They used to sell you all that whole thing at the pavilion, bro. It was like $25, and like we were broke ass Mexicans. So my dad's like, "Vamos al game," and everyone gets a hot dog and a soda. So like $20, like let's go, right? And so I didn't even think you had to pay for parking back in the day, or maybe
Yeah.
we did. I don't remember.
That's cool. Yeah. And see, I was wondering because I was like, wait, this was in Vegas. And then I was like, wait, has he been there his whole life? Has he not? And so I was thinking about that earlier because I was like, we're gonna talk about the Dodgers. I was like, wait, how does this even happen? Well, I'm a Lakers fan and I'm in Arizona, right? So I understand that things kind of happen, but it always just kind of well, actually it always earlier today, I was like, wait, how did this fool even become a fan? So knowing that backstory is dope. So is your family still back over there?
No, with most of it, like we try, like most Brown families. We kind of traveled together and shit. Like first it was
Mhm.
my dad who went, and I got a job and I got started up. Well, my uncle lived there, and then he took my mom, and then my big brother was already a grown ass fool, and he's like, I'm gonna work over here, bro. The money's better, benefits, all this stuff, and so he's like, I'm out. Like I was 18. He's like, you can come or do whatever you want. So then I went, but now my brother lives right here north down the street from me in North Las Vegas, and my parents live in Keekman, Arizona, which I think I told you that they're just not too far from you and AZ.
Yeah.
So it's just right over that dam, so it makes it easy to go see him about an hour and a half.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, I dig it. I'm glad. I mean, it's cool because your brother's right there, and I think the reason why I thought you had been there was because you had mentioned one time about I forget what it was that you guys had cooked or something, and you said like your mom had made something or somebody made flautas, and
Yeah,
I was like, oh, so maybe the family's there. That's what got me a little confused.
yeah.
All right,
You're
cool.
good. Hey, so what's your story? How you're an Arizona guy, right? But you cheer for the Lakers. Is
I'm
that?
born and raised in Arizona, but a lot of my family's from LA. So I have a lot of family in Pacoima. I have a lot of family. My cousin Gabriel, he lives here, but he was born in Van Nuys. So I have a lot of family just in that area. And I mean, growing up, we were all pretty close growing up. We've kind of we've gotten our own lives and stuff since we gotten older, you know. But when we were little, we used to all kick it. We used to always love the Lakers games and a couple of my cousins are Suns fans because we're in Arizona. But it was back when like Nick Van Exel, Glenn Rice, like that whole little Kobe was getting drafted, right before when Kobe got drafted, I was 8. So right, that was right around the time I was getting into, basketball, football, the sports, or whatever. So that was just kind of, and then shortly after that, they had their back to back to back, and I was already like pretty diehard because by then I'm 10, 11, 12. Been a fan ever since. Went through some rough years, went through some good years, and now we're kind of in the hopefully rebuilding years. But mine stems from a lot of my family being over there and just being pretty close with them when we were young, and that's kind of just like where it was kind of like a bonding thing when we were young, you know?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? And I had that as one something I wanted to bring up. The Dodgers won and all that, and I wanted to talk about the parade because it's always madness. Like I feel like in Cali, back in the day with the Lakers, where you just said like I was a Laker hater because growing up, everybody and everything I knew Lakers this. I'm like, oh, like get off their nuts, bro. But
Yeah,
they were the
yeah, yeah.
shit, and they were winning back to back. So for me, it was more like of the hater aspect. But I did appreciate what they did, and then obviously Kobe's gone, and it hurt me as my feeling like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Did
yeah.
a lot of good things for the city and stuff. But what do you think about parades, bro? Like I feel like if the Dodgers would have lost, I think it would have been worse. Like they usually rise and people start breaking shit. You know what I mean? Since
It,
they won, it got crazy and shit was happening, but it's almost like in good spirits, so nobody really doing too much crazy shit. I feel like the
yeah.
cops almost just let it happen nowadays.
No, I was talking to I work with this dude. He's from Canada, and I was like, it's cool because you guys got the whole country on your side. And in LA, I mean, well, in the States, it's a country divided, right? Because all the teams are
Of
here.
course.
And he was like, yeah, he's like, but in Canada, he's like, there's a lot of Canada, but we're all spread out. So there's only like so many million people. It's like not even that crazy. So he's like, yeah, you have the whole country, but it's because there's not a lot of us. Everybody's like cheering for, but I'm like, that's still cool. I thought it was a dope ass series. I kept going back and forth. I was kind of pulling for Toronto. Um, and then that last game, I just I even had I think a bet for Kirk to make a home run. And I was still like, I just started to pull for the Dodgers for some reason. And then, because I feel like you're watching it and you kind of gotta pull for a team, right? Even if I'm not a fan of either team, even when the game starts, you kind of you start rooting for somebody, right? You're like, oh, I like this dude's kicks or whatever. You're just like, you need a reason to root for somebody. So, in that game, I started to root for the Dodgers, and then when it got closer to the end, I was like whenever Kirk would get up, I was like, I need that home run. And I was like, but I kind of want the Dodgers. So I was kind of conflicted. But it was cool though. I just was so happy that it ended up being like a really good series. And I mean, Cavino and Rich were talking about the numbers today and how there was, I don't know how many, 26 million or something people that watched it. And it was, man. And the thing is, like, I know Cavino was like, oh, people are saying baseball's dead and this and this. And I'm like, the reason why is because there's 160 games for each team, and not all the games are like this series was, you know, but this series, man, it was bad. I dug it. So, Lisa said, "Oh damn, I thought Rich was on the show tonight." And then Andrew said, "Rich doesn't even know the show exists." That very true, very true.
She must be talking because I shaved. It's probably look a little different. I had to
Oh,
shave for my
is
Halloween
that what it
costume.
was?
Yeah,
Because when you hopped on, I'm like, this fool looks a little different, but I didn't know what it was.
yeah.
All right, all right.
I had like
Um,
a beard. I usually carry a beard. I don't mind shaving. I gotta do it for work. I think it's funny sometimes, but I just wanted to shave. I had to put makeup on.
you had to put,
But
hey,
that
who are
reminds,
you, Rich?
no, yeah, for real. But that reminds me of something else too. So I went to Western Breeze Halloween party. That was
Yeah.
on Friday. So
Oh, okay. You gotta tell me about
yeah,
that.
yeah. So you guys probably whoever's what's up world out there, feature guys like Carino says, but dressed up as Cheech on the last show, and that was kind of fun. I love Halloween. I love dressing up, so I take any opportunity I can. Um, so I went to work. I'm like, I can't take this this is a work appropriate costume kind of thing. And then like I was gonna paint my face kind of like scary and all that. I'm like, can't do that either. I don't want to wear face paint all day. So for work in the morning, I dressed up like a nerd and shit. I went to work and everyone was giving me shit like, what are you supposed to be like? Do you got an important meeting today or like? I'm like, are you saying that because I'm around or what? And then, but I was a nerd, supposedly put like tape on my glasses and whatnot. But to their house, I painted my face, and that was crazy, right? So I did a American Horror Story, that guy Tate. It's kind of like the skull face, you know. I took my time with it, and I'll show you a picture. I show up to the party, and I'm like the most scariest one there. Everyone's looking at who is this guy? Like the lights are on, and I was like, oh shit! Like I'm gonna just see these people. It was a great time though, bro. I had a good time. Everyone was like,
They didn't recognize
uh,
you at first, or what?
no, they did Western Breed, but they was like their neighbors and their friends who I don't really know or I've never
Yeah.
met. And then here's this like crazy fool just walking in. I had a case of beer. I'm like, oh, what's up, everybody?
That's what I love about Luis. If you
Shaking
never met
hands.
him, he always shows up with the drink. He always shows up with beer,
Yeah.
and not for him. I'm not saying he don't show up with a tall can in a bag. He always shows up with beer. That which is really cool.
That's how you do it, bro. You never show up to someone's house
Empty-handed, right?
inviting you. Not even if it's like cookies or chips, whatever. You know what I mean? Do what
Yeah.
you can.
I'm pretty sure I showed up to West and Breeze
But it was
empty-handed.
a good
So
time, bro. There was a guy who was dressed like the Olympics food. The guy who what was the
over
Australian guy?
over the pole.
What's it? No, the guy who went viral because he was doing like that whack ass when they dance,
Oh, it was a
street dance.
chick.
Yeah, what was her name? Do you know who I'm
I
talking
don't
about?
remember, but she was wearing like green or something. Had like a little hat.
Yeah, it had
Okay.
like a weird name. Like she came dressed as that, and I'm like, yo, and she Gunner or Trigger or
Yeah.
something like that. It was hilarious. And I'm like, hey, but you gotta do the trick, bro. And like I swear this guy practiced like right away. He got in the ground
Oh,
and started doing
really?
it. Everyone was like, hey, just egging him on. That was kind of funny. That was a good thing.
Yeah. No,
It was a
that's
Karen, of course. Nobody
yeah.
dressed up as a Karen.
Nobody did. You said?
No, they did. Somebody came dressed as a Karen. Like it said, "My name is Karen." Had the wig and everything. It was
Yeah.
perfect. Did you
Oh,
see Wes's costume?
where he was? What was he like? A hillbilly or something? I
He
saw him
was
with
like
his
a
panza hanging out.
redneck.
Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I I saw him his belly hanging out and him holding like a PBR or something. Whatever.
yeah. I
Yeah.
showed up to his house and I'm like, is this even your costume, bro? I feel like this is you
That's
every time I come
hilarious.
over and shit. He starts like, that's what's the best part. You have to really. He's like, I've been working on this the whole year, and was like rubbing his belly.
No, you know what's funny? I basically did the same thing when I went to work because I just wore black jeans, a black zip up hoodie, and then a mask like that came over my face like a bank robber. And then like during the day for work, I had it rolled up, and then like whenever we would like take pictures and shit, I'd roll it down. But my boss was like, "Do you wait all year?" She's like, "Just so you can come to work dressed how you really want to every day." And I go, "Pretty much." Like so I just basically came in like street clothes and then I had a mask. So I was like, "This is my costume, okay?"
A Mexican is saying the breakdancing Ozzy, and yeah, that's the one. So her name was Ray Gunn. I just looked it up, but her
Ray
actual
gun.
name was
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Rachel Lewis Gunn was her name, but Ray Gunn, and she was on that viral because she did the whack ass breakdancing moves that everyone was like,
Yeah.
"This is what they're competing about." Like it was
Now refresh my memory. Did she
Olympics.
win? Is that why it was such a big deal? Or was it just her being weird?
No, oh no, she did like the most. Oh, bro, yeah, she
Well,
did like the
I
most
remember
lamest
her being like weird,
dances. It
but
went
did she end
viral. I
up
don't think
winning?
she won.
Okay.
No, I don't. I can't say that I know. I don't think so, but I can't say that she did. Maybe she placed, but definitely not gold.
I
Ah,
know
yes.
there. Speaking of Halloween, I know you had sent me a couple of pictures that you wanted to talk about. I don't know if you want to get to those right now. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
go. Which one do you want first? Because I'll let you. I'll go ahead and
The
drop that.
the Bruja.
All right. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We got the man witch right here. So what's going on with
Yo,
that bad
that's
boy?
this. No, did you see this is commercial? This is Covino.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but they were talking about how they had the beer. What do they call them? The witch candy or whatever. It's like the new thing now, where you trade the bag of candy to your kid and you bring them. That's what Rich was saying that they're doing now, and that's what he said they were calling. That's what they put on the show. So I thought it was funny. It was like the instead of the tooth fairy, it's the candy fairy.
What?
Takes
I didn't hear this. You trade your
yeah, but it
kid?
was yeah. So that way the kid doesn't have a whole bag of candies. You're like, hey, donate your bag of candy to the Halloween witch, and she'll give you, a toy or whatever you've been wanting. Just kind of put it on your list.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
almost like a tooth fairy. So that way you take the whole candy because they're not going to eat it, and then you get them, maybe the toy or game they've been wanting, and you swap it out. But
Yeah.
that's what they were saying. That Cavino's that guy. Should just look at it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
We'll
like
go back to in case anybody missed the picture. Here's Cavino right here. Is the man witch. No, I didn't hear that story. I don't know how the hell I missed it. I thought I caught everything this week, but
Switch Witch. Thank you, Lisa.
the switch witch. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
One comes, takes a candy, and leaves a toy or a game. I mean, that's cool to keep your kid from indulging in all that freaking sugar, So, I mean, it's
For real.
cool. Yeah, no, I dig that. And then there was another one that we had to look
Yeah.
at.
So I thought it was funny because it was Halloween, but it was. I just seen it. Here's your Rambo news at the tablespoon from your brown guy here.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like hitting. It made news because people were saying like, "Is it racist?" And like, "No, I'm brown, so I think I can say it." So whatever. But it was funny too because it's if you read the sign and it's the
I'll bring it
Mexican word
up.
of the day.
Yeah. Oh, it says juicy, right?
Yeah, so it says Mexican word of the day, juicy, right? And then it's tell me if juicy ice coming. And so that was kind of hilarious, but people were fucking blowing.
No, and
He's not
see,
brown,
so
bro. So I think the costume doesn't fit, but
no, that's funny. So the backstory on that, Luis sent me these, and he's like, "Here, I want to show these tonight." So I was like, I wonder what his take is. I'm like, is he mad at it? I'm like, does he love it? And so it was cool. And I purposely didn't want to ask you, and I'm glad you just sent him because I was like, wait, where's his thought going right here? So I'm glad that I kind of got your take right now because I was like, wait, is he pissed? I'm like, all right. Well, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, but I don't even speak Spanish. Maybe it's more offensive to some people. And that's I'm going through that in my head.
it connects to Camino Rich because they always have the Mexican word of the day whenever they do it too. So it's just funny.
The magical
Hey, so
Mexican.
who's magical Mexican? He's just saying.
It's Dave. He's one of the Camino Rich. I don't want to drop his last name just yet because I don't know if he's okay with that. But no. So Dave right here, he put what he put. Switch Witch was in my home was my mom chasing me with the branch. Yeah, yeah.
Get the chancla, Holmes.
Yeah, no, it was actually the switch. What was it? The freaking the extension cord.
Oh, oh hell no.
Nah, I remember my dad telling me that my nana hit him with the iron. I don't know if it was still hot or she just grabbed the cord and whoosh. But yeah, they were crazy back in the 70s. So
Yeah. One more thing that I saw the other day that reminded me of the show too was you know how they always have that fart on the wall when they show
yeah, yeah,
Rich
yeah.
and they say that is his boy. Did you see the Fortnite update? It's actually called Fartnite and it's like the Simpsons theme. So
No.
like there's new. I don't know if you're a gamer. I kind of game. I haven't really played too much Fortnite. I don't know anyone who's out there games, but I thought it was hilarious that these guys are always talking about fart and the Simpsons. And so for the new Fortnite update that just came out or recently came out like this week or something, I believe. It's Simpsons theme and it's called Fartnite. And like the beginning is like Fortnite, and then Bart comes out and like spray paints an A on it and it says Fartnite. And then so now there's Simpsons characters you can play with, and even I think the city or the place you play looks like the Simpsons. So I thought that was kind of cool, kind of funny too, relevant to the show
That
that I
sounds
saw.
dope. It's funny because I'm glad that you said that you kind of game here and there because I don't, right? And not because I think it's corny. I don't have time to really do shit. Like actually I was at work the other day and one of the chicks was like, she's like, I'll grab my coffee, and I'll go and I'll sit outside on the back porch. And I was like, you have time to do that? I was like, it trips me out, but I think it's dope. Like, so you said, or so is it Fortnite that you dig, or are there other games that you get into?
No, I'm kind of old school, so like Halo's always been my thing. I was doing Call of Duty for a while, but that kind of fell off, and then I got on like Marvel Rivals, is kind of been my kick right now. So, but I play them all. Like I play Mortal Kombat. I mean, I'm old school. I have one of those emulators too that Kavino has that has like
Yeah,
all the bajillion games. I bought the no, it's like I bought it at the Swami like 5 years ago. So
yeah.
it's cool, but it has a Taken, Marvel vs. Capcom,
Is
like
it a
all the badass,
handheld?
even like yeah, even like the old school bubble one
Yeah,
where you just have to like add the bubbles with the same color. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that one. I had the maquinita for a quarter, like bloop, bloop, at the
yeah.
local, like when I grew up. That shit was fun. Or
No,
Metal Slug. I love Metal Slug.
no. There was so many things. Oh, you know what? Actually, I wanted to ask you. I had wrote this down. Literally after my notes, I had wrote it down because I had printed my notes and then I had wrote down. I got a lot. I don't want to say, and not in any bad way. Lisa, Andrew, the normal, the average people or the people that are joining. I can't speak today, dog. I don't know why, but they were bagging on that '80s movies conversation where I hadn't seen like anything. I don't know if you're in the chat because it lasted for a couple of episodes, but you're about my age. So I want to know when it comes, like you mentioned some of the games, right? When it comes to movies, how versed are you in that area? I haven't seen pretty much any, like I haven't seen E.T., I haven't seen Rambo. None, so like, how are you when it comes to that?
I'm pretty good. Like it's funny because like Kavino and Rich talk about some stuff that they say it's their age or older, and some of it I'm familiar with it. So I kind of feel like I'm an old soul in a way because I got a big brother and he's what 44, and then another old. I'm the baby, and then the other one's 40. So and then I'm 36. So it's a pretty decent spread. So I mean, they were watching it, and so they were renting videos back in the day. I mean, VHS videos. They were getting. I remember getting some old school pornos from these foods like Bert and shit.
Oh, Birdborn.
Yeah, like all the best shit. LimeWire, you know what's up, Naster, all that. So
Yeah,
even
Gas
then, but we grew
Galore,
up
all the hits.
we were there was a video store down the street, like, and me and my homie were talking about this the other day, like you don't like old school. It was called David's Video. It was like a little corner store, and you just had the typical like you think movie store, like just all little movies, just like a little hole in the wall thing,
Yeah, yeah.
and like all the little old school ones, and the corner that had like a curtain. And that's where they had all the bushes and all the chi-chis, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but anyway, that's quick for fun.
That's so funny.
And
The
do you remember
curtain.
the rewind? They used to charge you to
Yeah.
rewind
Yeah.
if you didn't, or if you didn't bring a rewind. And we used, I mean, it was you were bougie if you had one, let
Well,
alone
am I tripping or because I remember either they had it like at Blockbuster or Five Star or something where you could put the tape in there and rewind it. I don't know if you
yeah.
rented that or if it was there at the store, but I remember literally, or was it something that they used when they would get them? They would hit rewind because that's all the machine did. You put it in there
Yeah.
and it rolled that thing back to the beginning.
So I feel like some places made it part of the process. Like you had to bring it back. Like especially that one. Like if you did it, they charged you like 50 cents because they had to rewind it and they had a machine.
Yeah.
Or you would have to do it on your VCR. But I knew like I don't know, but I think it was part of what they did.
Nah, you know what was dope, and I guess now we're I think we skew to the younger demo of Covino and Rich listeners, but I remember, Doug, it was funny because if you did rewind and remember when you would rewind before they had the multiple option, like to go like double speed. So if you were rewinding something and you could stop it when you turned it off, right? When it wasn't on your TV and you hit rewind, that's when it'd go the fastest. But if you would rewind it while it was on your TV, when they invented that like double tap rewind and it'd go faster, you're like, oh, that was a game changer.
Bro, you would hear like a little motor pick up, like,
Yeah.
like that thing would just, oh, yeah, this thing got a second gear and it would kind of move back pretty fast.
No, you know what's funny? So you talked about the little motor that you would hear, Doug. I remember my dad wanted to shoot me one day. So we had gone to the WWF had came to Yuma, right? And Kane was here, Chris Jericho was
Oh, you
here.
are. You said WWF.
Yeah, right. Actually, I said that today at work, and the girl that's like, she's like 22. She goes, "What?" And I was like, the WWE. She was like, "It was the WWF," and I was like, "Yeah, they got sued by the World Wildlife Foundation." She was like, I never knew that. And I was like, well, it was probably happening around the time she was born, you know? But
Nobody else knew that either until they got sued.
yeah, yeah, right. But no,
Sorry, bro.
so I remember they had came. I remember Billy Kidman was here. I loved Kidman at the time, and I was just stoked, right? I don't know if it was Kane or who had came out, but this was an old school 35 millimeter camera, right? And I don't know why my dumbass thought it was like nowadays, right? We're talking about like 96 or I don't know. Wait, no. It had to be like 98. I don't know, late 90s. I took like 30 pictures of like Kane's walkout or whatever, right? And then I just heard it started rewinding the film. And I was like, I asked my dad, I go, hey, what's going on with your camera? And he was like, what? And I go, he goes, it sounds like it's winding up. And I was like, what do you mean it's winding up? He's like, how many pictures did you take? And I was like, I don't know. I was stoked. I never seen Kane in person. I was like, took like 30. And you know, the worst part is I don't know if it's because he was so pissed. We never got those pictures developed. So if you go to my mom's pad, there's probably the little container that they'd put the film in. There's probably one of those that has like 30 pictures of Kane going. I literally used the whole roll of film, was in trouble the whole rest of the fucking night. Rikishi was here. He had some chick flash, and like it was back during like puppies and shit, and they would flash and all that. Yeah. Nah, I was already like, oh shit, man, I'm in trouble the whole rest of the night.
Yeah, trigger happy, bro.
Oh, I did, man. I had never seen Kane before, dog. And that's dog, funny. Literally, it's probably like I used to bag on my sister because if you look at her pictures from like my cousins are like 18, 19, 20. When they were like 2, I go, Joel, why don't you just take a video? Because she would take so many pictures, they'd be like in the fucking pictures, right? And I was like
stop art. Food.
Yeah,
like,
no shit. It was like and that's how I was trigger happy that time. And then I remember my dad was like, get it, you know, you're fucking stupid. I was like, oh shit. I know. My bad. Damn. Like, can we get over this?
Hey, we're talking about first world problems, right? And kids, I think nowadays there's like new school version of Polaroids. I've seen those, right? I think my kid had one. It was like but before that, I mean, that's something that you don't know anymore, that you had a limit, bro. Like you could find throwaway cameras before they were like, hey, this one has 50 pictures and this one has 100 pictures. And there was some that I remember like it only had so many flashes in it. And like that shit doesn't happen anymore right now. Like how many freaking pictures can this, like how many gigabytes you can hold?
No, and then Magical Mexican, he said, what year was that? I remember seeing the Bushwhackers, Roddy Piper, at Desert Sun Stadium. So that was where I saw this one. But he said probably early 90s. This was late 90s. I remember going, I didn't actually, so in the early 90s when they came and the Road Warriors were here too, we were poor and we knew they were in town. So we drove and it was like a outdoor stadium where they play baseball, like minor league baseball. We drove and we parked outside so we can listen to it. So we heard like, oh, what a rush. And we're like, oh, hell yeah. You know, the Road Warriors are in there, you know? And we were so stoked. So the one that Magical Mexican's talking about, I was probably there, but in the parking lot with my whole family. Literally, like my sister was probably a baby.
4,000 chips.
No lie.
Chips that your mom made it.
Exactly. The sandwiches that they would cut into 4s. You know, they'd cross them both ways, and then you'd go and sit there like, no lie, that was like a family outing when we were young. Yeah. You know?
With the one Shasta and like share that shit with the big one. It was like
but don't,
liter,
you take too many drinks, you get in trouble now. You took too many drinks, you know, you didn't let your brother have a drink. You were, right? I have an older brother and a younger sister, so I had to balance it out, right? I wanted to take more drinks than my little sister, but I didn't want to take, you know, as many as my brother because he's going to beat my ass. But, freaking Carl Reinhardt says, I was busy chasing tail in the late 90s. You know, I was not. The late 90s, I was 10.
Yeah, I'm also from 89, bro. I'm from the 80s. I barely made it.
For real. Well, yeah. I mean, I was born in 88, so it's funny because like I'm an 80s baby, but I'm a 90s kid, right? Um, they got dwarf wrestling coming this Saturday at the Civic Center. I did see that Magical Mexican. I actually saw. I was
Yo,
going
those
on
are fun, bro. Those
for
are
real. I'd
fun.
never been to one. They have them
Oh,
pretty often here.
they
Oh,
probably
I'm
had
not
like a
gonna
league
be
or a tour,
here.
dude. You gotta go, bro.
I'm not gonna be here.
Can't be that much either.
I'm gonna be in
Uh,
Tucson. I'm gonna go see Tom Segura, the comedian.
oh, nice. That should be fun.
Yeah, no, me and my lady, we actually, it was so dope because we got to see him like I want to say right before he like blew up and got like super famous. We had got tickets to see him, and then I want to say COVID hit, so they pushed our tickets back like 2 years. So by the time we went to go see him, it was like a really small show. He was from like probably like 15 feet away from me. And I was like, we had our tickets from back in the day, but now he was like hella famous, you know? And so the other day, my buddy hit me up. He was like, "Hey, can you get to Tucson on the I think the 7th or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "I got tickets." So I was like, "All right." I go, "How much?" And he was like, "Don't worry about it. They're already paid for." So I was like, "All I got to do is get myself there?" I was like, "Pfft, okay then." So
I
that's
mean,
where I'll be this weekend. I won't be watching no midgets wrestling.
put me in, coach.
Yeah, no lie. No lie.
Yo, I got another thing I wanted to chat about real quick.
Yeah.
It was regarding a little bit
We
of the
have
show
about
too.
15 minutes.
You're good, homie. Um, so it was Melody's birthday, and it was funny because I texted just like, hey, wish you happy birthday and stuff for me. But it reminded me, I was like, hey, I was half brown and so are you. I was like, you know what's up with like quinceañera or sweet 16, like padrinos? Like you heard of that? You
Yeah.
know what those are? Like how they do something. I'm like, they do. I'm like, I told Cavino, he's like, nah, not really. I'm like, you need to do that shit, bro. That's how we always do it growing up. When people got married, when they baptized somebody for a 15 quinceañera or a sweet 16, like, man, you go to your family, your friends, and basically it's like a sponsorship, really. I'm like,
Well,
that's
see,
what you need
you
to do
said
it, bro.
this is where you messed up. You told Cavino Padrinos, and for the English speaking folk, it's the godparents, right? so
Yeah.
so yeah, and like Magical Mexican said, the Padrinos pay for most of it. And so my buddy, I remember when his kid turned 15, we were real close to all of them. One of our other friends is the Godfather, and I remember he at that point I was like, oh, thank goodness I can't be affording to be paying for shit like this, but yeah, no, it's just I'm surprised that, I mean, come on, you can't have Uncle Tommy be a padrino or Donnie
Hey, I
or
was like,
one of
hey,
them
bro, I'll
being
send 50
the
bucks, 100
godmother.
bucks for a keg, you know what I mean? Whatever shit. I'm down to help out. I mean, it's just a community helping each other out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't need it. I was kind of giving him shit, but I just wanted to know, like, that's how I grew up, bro. I remember my mom be like, oh, here comes your tia. Like, oh, she's only coming over because they're getting married, so they probably want me to, like, my mom was the cake lady. They
Yeah.
probably want me to be the fucking madrina del pastel because they know I can make it. And
Yeah.
I won't charge them, and I'm like, hey, fucking do your part. Like, get married again, and I don't know, make them buy the fucking meat or something.
Yeah, no, man. And you know what's crazy? It's funny because like my godfather, or my Nino, um, it's crazy because here I am almost 40. My dad passed away 14 years ago this month. And my godfather was my dad's best friend. So we always called him uncle growing up, right? And he was also my godfather, my Nino. And it's crazy because I'm almost 40 and this fool I mean, he's real into the church and stuff, but took his role as my godfather the most serious anybody could ever take it. This fool still calls me 3-4 times a week. Mijo, how are you doing? Like he literally called me yesterday and he had called me over the weekend and I was hella busy. So I talked to him yesterday and he's like, hey, what'd you guys do? What'd you take Kennedy for, trick-or-treating and this and this? The role that a padrino's supposed to play, he plays it hella hard, almost to a fault where you're like, dog, I'm busy, but it's coming from the goodness of his heart, so you can't be pissed.
That's what's gonna go in the Padrino Hall of Fame, bro. If he's not already there, that's what needs to be there. It sounds like he's the definition of
Nah,
what that is.
he's going to heaven, first class.
Yeah,
Magical Mexican said Uncle Rich, no lie, huh? Why can't
for
Uncle
real.
Rich sponsor some of this? The Sweet 16, the quince,
If he just didn't bet like one weekend, he'd probably be enough to pay for something already.
he just
With all
spent
the bets he
freaking
bets.
6 figures on a fucking backyard, and he couldn't. You know what trips me out, and I am spending Rich's money. But you would think as close as they are, he'd be like, "Hey, here's a not even okay. I know to Rich, even a G is probably like a nickel to me, but not even. Hey, Cavino, here's $500. Fuck it, just I don't know, just whatever to help out, whatever. Won't even think about it. But you would think, but he's like, oh, I got a backyard to redo. My backyard died. I'm still mourning it.
How about he might, low key when he goes to the party slipper. I think he will. He's always that, but they're not gonna
Well,
talk
why
about it.
not
But
both,
talking about that,
right? Why not both?
did you see the video? I think you had to put a note of that. Oh, that for doing the yard work and the AI shit.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
god, that
with
shit
with
was
the little
hilarious. I love
Tonka
when you see
trucks and
that
all
shit.
that.
That shit was
Oh
hilarious.
no, and you know what? And that's why I dig like some of this stuff because that one was cool. There's a couple that they've done recently. One that I thought was really cool, isn't even like funny, but I thought it was cool, was when they had Spot fighting like a gorilla or some shit. Did you see that? It was like Spot fighting like King Kong or something. I was just
Yeah.
like, man, no. And then I was doing one because I tried to age Spot in one of the AI things. It just made him look like some old white guy. It didn't even work. But before that, I had moved the picture, and it's just a picture of Spot in like his flannel, like his red and freaking red and black
Canadian and shit.
flannel. And this fool was like in the video, he's like moving and all this, and I was just like, it's so crazy how nowadays, in like probably it did it in like 38 seconds,
That's pretty nice. I
Yeah.
like the ones where they had him when he was jacking the napkins from Chipotle, and then
Yeah.
they had
No, you know what's
the
funny?
suitcase.
The half a second, like when I first watched it, I thought it was real. When I saw him walking or whatever, I was like, oh, well, a video of Rich. And then I was like, oh, it's fake. But it's funny because that split second, you're like, oh, okay, video of Rich. It's not like so bad where it's photoshopped, cut out head or whatever. I trip out. I love it. I love it. All right.
When that shit got big, that what's going on over there?
Let me see. All right. Dodgers. How did Luis? We found out that. All right. So Cavino got a colonoscopy, last week, and had to flush his system. So my thing, I'm not thinking about because you're gonna have a colonoscopy, but let's say you might have gotten back at a ex's boyfriend or something, right? And now you need the last meal ever. What are you going? Are you going a certain? Are you gonna have a buffet style dinner if you're gonna have your last meal because they're about to execute you? Or are you gonna have a certain? Are you going Italian? Are you going Chinese? What's Luis Cortez Jr. gonna do?
I thought about it because if it's your last meal, whether you're gonna like you're done because you're going to sleep and you're not waking up again, or like you're getting locked up or something, I feel like it's something that it almost would have to be homemade. I feel like maybe I know that's taking like the easy or cheap way out. You know what I mean? But like one of like my grandma's meals or like my mom's was like this is my last meal, bro. Like I want to make sure that I go off with a bang. So I think it'd be like my favorite dish that like my mom and grandma would make, which is like I like mole, arroz con mole.
No, and you know what's
Like
funny?
the
I'm
sweet one.
I'm glad you said that because you said, "Oh, it's like the taking the cheap way out." That's not even where my mind went because I was thinking I'm like some crazy ass lasagna or something that like right that my family's never made like as far as like from scratch type of shit. But I'm like that sounds dope. Now you got me thinking because I'm like, damn, am I gonna want like my nana's rice or am I gonna want like my mom's enchiladas or I was like, damn, now I don't
Yeah,
know where I'm gonna go with it. Oh.
I might sprinkle it. Like I'm a big fan of Pizza Rock. If everyone's ever in Vegas, or I don't know if there's anywhere else, there's two in Vegas. Pizza Rock's the shit. So I'd be like, hey, give me a pizza, one of those. My mom's arroz con pollo, like my tia's flautas, like my grandma's chile, and then I love In-N-Out, in double double animal style. Extra
Yeah,
spread.
I hate how much people bag on In-N-Out. Oh, I love it. It's like when there's somebody that you find super hot and people say she's overrated. You're like, who cares? I dig it. I like
Yeah,
In-N-Out.
bro.
People talk about In-N-Out so hard. I don't care. I dig it. I dig it.
They're the anomaly. Like when people always we talk shit, and Rick Kavinovich said, like everyone. There's only like a couple people that disagree, and we're like, who gives a fuck? They're the minority. There's five of them in the country or like in the state. Like they don't like In-N-Out or they don't like. Let's not worry about them, right? Like they're literally the mind. They don't even count. They're a percent. So move
For
on.
sure.
Everyone loves In-N-Out.
I gotta throw Andrew some love real quick. He said that's a great story. My WWF taking pictures of Kane story. I completely. You know what I love about conversations like this, especially there's so many times where even you're with your chick or whatever, right? You're like on your phone, even if you're watching a show or something. This is like Joe Rogan. He said he loves doing his podcast because it's a couple of hours where you don't have any phones, any distractions or whatever. And like for me, I'm like, damn, that story about the WWF. I don't think I would have ever even remembered that if we wouldn't be here kicking it because you're watching a show, you're on your phone, you're doing this, you're doing that. But that something like that just cracks me up because I'm like, damn, what a memory to have right there in the back of my mind. Um, I think we're still getting to know Luis, right? Over the last few shows. And I wanted to know because I know you were talking to Cavino about the sick new world, getting green lighted or whatever, and might happen again or whatever. But do you have a couple of bands? I'm not gonna say give me five or whatever, but a couple because, and I think the reason why I saw this was because Limp Bizkit is back on the top of the charts. So, what are a couple of your favorite bands, just in general? I mean, I dig a lot of different kind of music. I know you're more a rock guy, so it doesn't have to be rock. Could be hip hop, whatever. But you're going on a road trip. What's the first couple of bands you're putting on?
I'm like new metal guy at least too. At least that's kind of the first thing that got me at least. So like I remember having cassettes back in the day, you know what I mean? And so Korn was one that was big. I remember having Disturb on cassette, Slipknot, so that kind of System of a Down. That's all related to that. I mean, I like all kinds of music. I think good music transcends. It doesn't have to necessarily be a genre. So I can be
Yeah,
like, hey man, that's a great artist. That's a good song. That's a good cat. I love category get more lenient rock, but I mean, I like Johnny Cash. Like that's as Western as it get, at least for
yeah.
me.
No,
But
I'm glad.
it
I
depends on
mean,
the vibe too.
I dig that because like just with Corn, System of a Down, Disturbed, I'm like that was kind of in my era as well. Obviously, right? Same general area or era, but I hear that I'm like, oh, cool. Kind of makes me feel a little bit closer to you because I remember there was this dude named Gustavo, and I don't know whatever happened to him after like fifth grade. This dude could have got deported, and I'm not even saying that jokingly because I have a few friends that got deported like after high school and shit. But this dude Gustavo said like two words of English, right? Didn't know any English. We went on a field trip in like fifth grade, and I think it was like the first Corn album where Freak on a Leash was on. I don't know if that was their first, but at least the first one I remember. And this dude Gustavo had his headphones with his little freaking CD player, and I was like, "Hey Gustavo, what are you listening to?" And he showed me the CD, and I was like, "Oh, you fuck with Corn?" And he was like, "Ah, yeah, he Corn," like. And I was just like, "Oh shit!" After that, me and that dude got close as far as like music and shit. And that dude, when Issues came out after that, I was just like, "Oh, I know Gustavo got it right." This fool didn't know no English, but he went and he cashed in his pesos and got that Issues CD. So I see that, and I was just like, "Oh hell yeah, man!" Makes me know a little bit more about Luis.
Yeah, bro. It's funny you say that. I mean, I'll have to snap some pictures, guy, and trying to move the setup here. But this is my little music room. Like I got guitars, but I'm looking at an autograph poster that I got for the 20th anniversary of Follow the Leader, the Corn. So I
Really?
paid the extra shit, got the VIP, got to meet them, got a
You got to
poster
meet
that they
him?
all honored. I got it was like the meet and greet behind the show, like
Yeah,
before the
yeah.
show started. So it was in line with, but I think it was like 500 people, whatever. But I got
But
it like a little
still,
badge. I got all their signatures on it, and I got it in a nice frame and shit. I also got a Slipknot one when they were here on the 666 tour. That was
I
part of the Knot Fest in
I
2022.
I don't know. I mean, in the straightest way possible, I always dug dreadlocks. Like I don't want to say on dudes, but like Jonathan Davis, Sonny from POD. Like I thought dreads were
Monkey,
so fucking dope. Like I
yeah,
always thought I always loved it. I mean, just meeting Jonathan Davis, I'd be like, oh fuck yeah, those are the fucking dreads that were in the Freak on a Leash video. I would be so stoked. So the fact that I mean, you didn't get to like interview them and shit, no Cavino status, but the fact that you even got to meet them and share a moment with them, I think is
yeah.
badass.
I got a picture and shit like that too. It's funny. I actually met Vinnie Paul one time too, randomly in Texas. So I got before he died and all. I got the pleasure to shake his hand, give him a high five, and tell him
That
how
is so
badass
cool.
he was. He was playing for Hell Yeah at the time.
Um, Andrew said he said you should do some metal reactions on your channel. You know what? I'll definitely do some Korn or even Andrew some of the react or some of the metal songs that you gave me. Andrew recommended some bands that are fucking heavy. They are heavy as fuck. So I might do some reactions to those on some of these metal songs that I've never heard of. I think that'd be dope. But let me know, Luis, when you need a bounce because I know we have, we're close to
We're good.
our quitting time.
Yep.
So let me know. But no, I'm so glad I have. So now going back to where we kind of started, bringing this, I guess, full circle before we end the show, talking about Halloween, talking about trick or treating. Cavino and Rich were talking about. I think it was more Rich. I think Cavino was a little more quiet during this conversation, but they were talking about trick or treating, and Rich was saying how he used to go trick or treating with the neighborhood kids. He used to, get all his buddies together. For me, it was never like that. We'd all go to my nana's house. All my cousins, right? So there was 5 of us boys, and then 2, my little sister and my little cousin were the 2 girls. So there's 7 of us. All get together at my nana's house. Then we would either go around the neighborhood for a little bit, and then get in the car, and we'd get driven to the nice neighborhoods, where they had full size candy bars, or they had, because at the time around the neighborhood you're getting the hard sucking candies and shit. But if you went to the rich neighborhoods, that's where they actually had Reese's. Even if they were the minis, they had the Reese's, the Kit Kat, the M&Ms. So I want to know, for you, how did you go? Were you neighborhood kids? Were you family? How did it work in the Luis Cortez house?
Nah, and we're brown and we were poor, and so we did the same thing. And so it wasn't too far. I lived in Bell Gardens, and Downey was the next town, and it was like the town. And like, I mean, even you could just tell it was over the bridge, and like the houses were bigger. The yard, they actually had front yards and driveways and shit. So that was where it was at, and that's where everyone else would go to. But to your point, like it was like the name brand shit, full size stuff. Compared to the other shit, it was like knockoffs or the stuff that nobody wanted to eat. So it was very much the same until I got old enough to be a desmadroso because I was always mischievous.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even about candy. It was about, doing dumb shit, egging houses or whatever, or, trying to chase girls.
That
But
egging
it
the
was the
house,
same.
egging the houses, doing all that shit. I never got into. That was never my scene.
TP.
Maybe it was just because I was a
Or
fat
TP to
kid.
tree or a house.
Nah, we weren't into that.
Yeah. That was mischievous.
Yeah, yeah. You were a little travieso.
I know hands, bro. Like, hey, let's go through a newspaper at so-and-so's house. Like everyone just go like we're gonna get just go around from your house, so like that way nobody would notice. So like you get 6, 8 foods, all of a sudden you got like 2 dozen paper towel or toilet paper rolls. All
No,
right, you set
you
up.
know
And
what?
so
I
your
might.
parents wouldn't yell at you, bro. 2 to 3 If you take a whole carton of eggs back in the day, mom would be like,
Back in the day, even now, they're
yeah.
expensive again.
So
Did they ever?
each took like 1 or 2.
When you said the eggs, the TP in the houses, all that, whatever. Did they did this to us every year in the last like 2 days of school in elementary school? Did they ever do backpack checks? They would do
Yeah, bro.
backpack checks because people would bring shaving cream, huevos, everything to just fuck up the school and people, right? So it was the last couple of days of the year. It was around the time they had like the yearbook signing parties, and everybody was gonna everybody was chilling. Certain kids would bring, shaving cream. And at the time, it wasn't like gels and shit. It was straight up, cream, shaving
Oh,
cream. And, I mean, all kinds of shit. So did that happen at your school or was it only at mine?
nah, it happened there too. And like Pelos de Bruja, aka like those stink bombs or fart
Yeah.
bombs, those were notorious. And you get them from like the ice cream truck guy at the liquor store. They had the ones that came like in a little vial. I don't know if you remember. They look like made out of science lab, bro.
Yeah,
Like
they were, I
crazy,
remember those.
looking.
It was
I mean, that
golden.
thing. Oh my god, that thing was terrible. But when I got to high school, we were kind of in the ghetto, so they had like metal detectors for weapons mainly. And then if they knew you looked or sub trap away, whatever, they would check your shit. Because back in the day, fools were selling like weed and stuff and
Yeah.
bullshit, and maybe not guns. Maybe here and there people would bring guns, but so in middle school for sure though, it was more of the once again if you were that bad kid like or you were the first one like there was a stink bomb in A building like isn't that where Luis and his homies go to like
Yeah.
aren't they in that class in the morning like bring all those foods in here like check all their shit.
I remember my buddy Luis, that lives in Tucson. I told you I'm going to go visit. I remember he told me we all had like the same teacher for our math analysis class. And he was like, dude, he's like, Mr. Davis fucking hates your class. I was like, what? Because we had him in 4th period. And I think Luis had him in 1st period. He's like, dog, he's like, every fucking day, all he does is talk shit about your guys' class. Cause everybody in there was such a piece of shit. It was just,
Yeah.
but it was cool. I mean, whatever, it was cool, you know?
Hey, I feel bad nowadays because we did that too, and like I did it as a teacher for a while, and I got to see the other side of that. But I feel like for me, like it was more about how I got treated. That's always been how I react. Someone treats me well, I'll treat you good. In
Yeah.
school, some teachers just maybe because how I look or maybe how I was a shithead, so they would punish me and like misuse that, while others were like, "Hey, this fool needs extra help," or we need to do this for him because he and so those that were willing to work with me, I always respected him. Those people taught me a lot. But the ones who would almost be like, "Oh, he looks or he's dumb or whatever," and they would just like push me to the side, I
Yeah.
made sure that they paid the piper for that.
That's so funny, man.
Stink bombs.
No, you know what else it reminds me of? Sting bombs. You just, I guess, unlocked the memory, as the kids say, or they did at one point. Remember the little poppers as well? You would buy them all from like the ice cream man or whatever. You'd buy the stink bombs and those little poppers that look like little sperms that you'd fucking tap. You remember those bad boys?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they look. There was a little red box, and it had
yeah.
usually had like sawdust in it, and it
Oh.
had the little white, like you said, looked like sperm balls.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But trick or treating. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I have one tip for Rich. So this fool he went and he raw dogged his freaking little front part of his lawn. Did nobody teach him to soak it a little bit with, let the water get in before you start getting in there with the freaking with the shovel? This fool just went raw dog, boom, with the shovel, and then wondered why he was out there all day. I'm like, dog, soak that shit, work on it. So let it fucking just come out a little bit at a time so it's soaking as you're working. I couldn't believe this shit. So I mean, just back to your story with the Tonka trucks and all that. I couldn't believe that Rich tried to go in and just raw dog his yard.
Bro, talk about and then I'm surprised. And I didn't catch the end of the show today. I had to jump out. I had to get on a work meeting. But did they finish up talking about? He said he needed some kind of plumber help. So did they talk about what's happening? Or I'm sure maybe tomorrow he'll give us follow up if he did whatever. But he was saying that it was leaking. So I think it was like a little flap inside the toilet bowl. That's if it's passing through there, that's because it's either leaking, trapped, or whatever. That's what I would have looked at. But he said that I think he took a nut off and started leaking because it's probably the nut at the bottom of the bowl.
Yeah.
So if it's full of water, then the fucking water's coming out. You have to, for anyone who's fucking knows what's up, you have to turn the water off, drain the tank off, make sure there's no water in there, and then take that off so that you can, replace that. But
No, and then there's once you take off I forget what it's called. I used to do shit like that. I haven't done plumbing in forever. But you take the toilet off and then you have the little wax fucking circle that sits in there.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I'm like,
the wax seal.
the little wax seal could even be fucking bad. Just replace that bad boy. But when you're getting into that, I think it's way above Rich's pay grade. He needs to get somebody to do it.
It's probably Covino's big ass pedals that he's farting. I don't know which toilet he was talking about, but if it's that
Again,
one,
yeah, he didn't tell
you
us.
lean on that bowl, it'll fuck up that wax.
It'll start to
ring
rot.
that's
Yeah.
between the bowl and the bottom sink. But yeah.
Oh man, but after show, but later, I think we're gonna have to wrap this one up. Episode number 312. Make sure you check us out on Patreon, on YouTube, everything, wherever you're watching us now. Check out DZF Reacts. I got some new videos on there. And anything you want to plug, Luis? Anything you want to shout out or anything before we go?
Nah, man, just thanks for having me again. Thanks for everyone watching. Appreciate the insult chat, Lisa, all the Raiders, Magic, all the Brown love support you, Andrew Sands, man. Appreciate you guys, and then we'll see you guys hopefully next Tuesday, and it's What's Soul Food Tuesday from Luis here in Vegas. And appreciate you again, Daniel, for having me. The above ground pool boys.
Yeah, there we go. Above ground guy. I'm over here. I'm trying to repeat what you said and read the chat, but above ground pool boys over here. After show, but later. Andrew, Carl Reinhardt, Lisa, Magical Mexican, everybody that I saw in the chat today. Thank you guys for jumping on. This was, a lot of fun. It flew by. It's already been an hour. I can't believe that, but you guys will have to just tune back in after show, but later. tinyurl.com/TASBL tablespoon if you can't remember it. We will see you guys in episode number 313. Peace.
Cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music